How you detect the problem when it already affects on your processes. You already lost some money or reputation or something like this.
The developer thinks, that's instead of a cool technology, I'm engaged in messaging. Am I the mailman?
Your developer team don't waste the time on understanding about other system logic. All they build is the product business value. Good day, I'm Andrey Putin.
My name is Anton Belov.
And today we will discuss about ESB and how it's related with software speed and quality. ESB, Enterprise Service Buses, or modern version, IPaaS, Integrational Platform as a Service. What is this? What is for in simple words? We often hear something weird about ESB. We usually hear that it's something big or another version we don't need it because our enterprise has microservice architecture. Nevertheless, it is pain remover for any integration you have in your architecture, and today we'll discuss about it for one simple example we'd love to talk about.
Disclaimer. By ESB we mean a set of solutions to provide integration. It necessarily includes monitoring, queue broker, and low-code jobs builder. In fact, it is all layer configured to solve the problem of data exchange. It can be a cloud solution or a self-hosted system deployed on your servers. The choice will depend on the size of your company and size of your development teams.
Let's start with a simple integration between the CRM system and the online store site. What will you do? You make an agreement with the CRM system about the API format. Here, for example, we use a generic API and there is no develop here. And we agreed to write an extension to build some flow, discuss about what entity is a little bit later, extension, for example, customers. Okay, we developed it here, it's sent our customers here, and that's it. And after it, we just get a ready integration.
What will we do if some integration breaks down? For example, the CRM stops receiving information about customers. We will try to find out who's responsible for that. Who is it? Could it be the CRM? Of course, it can. Find out the reason. We need to write some extension in the eShop, which will be write logs. And after that, we need to move some customer from eShop to the CRM to check it out.
But I just want to mention that we need some functionality to resend our customers. It's a big deal for some flows.
We made a simple script which sent information about customer to CRM. And we're understanding that problem not in eShop, because eShop sent it normally.
So the CRM team says us, we don't change anything. And eShop, during its writing the logs, find out that eShop, it seems to be working normally. So where the problem is? Let's figure out. In long research, we can find, for example, that we have some Chinese customer with 2 letters in his surname. And for some reason, the CRM system can get it with 2 characters. For example, CRM system require at least 3. And of course, we didn't make such functionality or some checking in our extension because we write this extension with custom developer or something like this. But for example, in general, we need to say that this extension didn't know for this moment the CRM system can get a 3-char surname here. We find out it just because we find this Chinese customer. How you detect the problem when it already affects on your processes? You already lost some money or reputation or something like this. You can't sit someone to monitor the flows because it's usually quite technical and developers are still needed for it. How fast you solve it? Make a login, make a debugging, figure out what's wrong, resending script. In general, it's not really fast. How fast your eShop solution can be changed? Not really, because some your developers are spending their time on support integration flows that didn't give you a business value in eShop. Valuable resource wasted not for hypothesis to increase your sales, but on support some piece of code that even didn't involve this functionality in eShop.
How that will affect on ability to change your CRM? It will, because when you want to update your CRM, you will think twice and push your team to test these flows together. I saw a lot of teams who goes on Fridays evenings and spend weekends just to make an integration works after another update or change. Well, I must say that the same type of tasks for errors integration to add logs to check messages very exhausting. The developer gets tired of this very quickly. The developer thinks, that's instead of a cool technology, I'm engaged in messaging. Am I the mailman? They burn out and change jobs. And the code abandoned by them became a real challenge for those who come after them. Imagine that you got a car that was made by a craftsman in garage in a single copy, and half of parts for it were made in the same garage. Exclusive, expensive, and unnecessary.
Sum up. You spend money on integration that can be supported only with developers. Second one, you find a problem only when they already has a real effect on your business. For example, our Chinese customer wait for his order already a week and he's really angry right now. And the next one, your developer team work slower and every integration is done slowly and without a clear result. You never know what did you missed. Next one, your system are too complicated because they have acquired extra code that brings no value to it. eShop will know that CRM system didn't accept Chinese surnames and so on. Code base increased in every change will cost you more because any new feature of the system slightly increase the cost and speed for the next one. What if you will add one more integration? For example, we need an ERP system. Our ERP will keep stocks for all our items, for all our goods and so on. And for some calculation, we need an order flow that actually keeps here. We just missed the order flow. Let's add it. Orders. It's enriched somewhere here. Right now, we need all that enriched order flow here.
We came to CRM developers and asked them to estimate how long will take develop orders plus flow.
And I say you 7 months.
For some reason, I decided to ask eShop developers about hypothetically how long you will develop the flow with orders from eShop. And they gave me the estimate 2 months.
Oh, they're really fast for this. And of course, they will need to add another flow. So
because we need to enrich the data in orders to make it orders plus. That means we need some extension in eShop, which will get the orders from CRM and send it to ERP.
Yes.
Was right decision, but
I'd like to strike it, but no matter what. Basically, what do we see here? Actually, the correct flow has to go this way because ERP need to enriched order data, but
we have deadlines.
And eShop team make such integration to us. And for now, our architecture aligned with our deadlines, not with the way how it's actually need to be done. That's the problem.
So let's look at whole picture. We have an orders data in eShop and some additional orders data required for packing, for example, in CRM, which need to be provided in ERP. We have some extension in eShop which resend it from CRM to ERP. We also need to save it in database because we risk lost it. Write unnecessary code and increased complexity of code base, increased complexity of database of eShop.
And when product owner wants some value in eShop, for example, in increased conversion rate, the developer now will say that of course we do it, but much more longer than usual because our eShop solution increased in our functionality, increased with in our database, increased in some kind of logic and so on.
Yes. Also, we faced with violation of responsibility zones because if you have some issue for marketing team in CRM, they will send us to eShop team because they need change some data in this flow. That means eShop team made changes in this extension, and right after them ERP team could make changes in ERP.
So right now, when product owner of, for example, ERP asks some additional data from CRM, it's faced with 2 points of change. We need to add in CRM, and we need to change something in eShop. And for example, our developer team are ex-housing and have a very big backlog. But now we need some change. And our ERP product owner, for now, when he faced with some change, will wait a much more longer than it should be.
So, in each system, we have a development team. Each team has its own backlog and its own metrics. The CRM team has tasks for improving customer process and marketing mechanics for them. The eShop team has customer orders and the objective increase in orders and order processing. The ERP team has tasks, for example, with inventory. When we need for integrations, a lot of integration tasks appear in the team's backlogs. To ensure data transfer, teams often reinvent the wheel, and each team does this in its own system. Sometimes it brings you to duplicate parts, monitor, logging logic in the systems, and in some cases only one team take all integration tasks in their system, and your software architecture built not because you need to build integration that way, but because you don't have a choice, like in our example.
In resolution, write ESB. How you will manage with all that task with ESB. We will change flow orders. Customers goes always here. Always here. With ESB, we strike this order because it will goes to our ESB system. Customer logic goes over here. Just simple orders goes here. And ERP right now take whatever it needs, orders, customers, so on, from here. Just because we have one single solution that do not duplicate monitoring, logging, so on. We erase all our unnecessary things here. We remove this kind of extension. Right now, I don't have a 7 months of awaiting something. Why? Because our ESB have a microservices, and right now our ESB will make the integrational logic as simple as it's possible. eShop have a generic API for customers. That's it. Every system right now have some kind of generic API, but even if customers have some extension, some modification and so on, you can change API, but your development team right now concentrated only with logic to provide to any public instance, to any public resource, information about the customers. ESB now go through this API, and we have some settings for it. Orders enriched with data. Actually, we will remove orders, and we keep only enriched data. That will keeps all source here. And when ERP will need any data we have already in ERP, all we need to add one more microservice that will interact with a message broker in ESB and send it to ERP. No any additional logic is over here, and no any additional logic in our eShop, and no any additional logic in our CRM.
By adding ESB to design, you move the task of ensuring data transfer to a separate team, freeing up backlogs of team developing the rest of the system. And if you don't need a separate team, for example, you small business, your team have a separate tool that speed up the efficiency on long term.
Sum up again. Right now, our integration support here with a separate technical operator, level 1, level 2 in ITL, not with developers. You can detect any issue with flows as they arise, not as they damage to some processes. We have a time to fix anything before our Chinese customer gets angry. Your developer team don't waste the time on understanding about other system logic. All they build is the product business value, not a service task for any other systems. And all your system has less code in it, and it helps you to change or update your product faster. Integrations do as fast as it's possible. All they need to put the master data into a queue with special tools that will connect to a system with generic API, including monitoring, logging, and so on. Every ERP, every CRM, every eShop has such tools. Of course, your development team can make new entities that doesn't covered with generic API, but the developers will need to do that API for instances, and it will take less time. Anyway, ESB built-in monitoring tools helps to check clear vision of the result. Does it work? Is there any losses? Now, it's not a hard question, and you don't reinvent the wheel in such kind of tasks. Instead of blurring responsibility borders, you have a simple and straightforward zones of responsibility. It helps with security, with make new integration, or even with change system completely. If we're gonna change ERP from one to another, we will change only that flows. No one can blame the losses on another system.
And couple words in the end of this video. Some techies think that ESB and brokers are equal. Nope. They have a lack of tools for building an end system connectors. We don't like code-based ESB because it usually prevents to reinvent the wheel, but in ESB solution we saw such a lot. We don't recommend you use ESB with no GUI to creating microservices.
Microservice architecture and ESB don't conflict each other. Microservice applications have a bounded context. What is this? CRM, for example, call your customer as a merchant, eShop as a customer, and they can have a different attributes and so on. On that borders, you need some transformation, and ESB useful for that. Of course, You don't need an ESB inside microservice app using other brokers, but your CRM system with inner borders with ERP, they both can be microservices, but you need a translation as well.
You also can't define service boundaries and how to divide them unless you use process management approach. But we'll talk about that in one of our next videos.
And now, instead of bye-bye, we just want to remind that the war have faced with a new world war. Russia is Ukraine. Putin, go out from Ukraine. Bye.